to this video. Here you see two ABUS padlocks, model 45/40. And the difference between these two padlocks is the fact that the left one is older than the right one. And you see, of course, that the shape of the key head differs. But when you pull out the key, you can also see that the bitting is different, the number of pins. So the left has 4 cuts, 1, 2, 3, 4, while the right one has 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they have increased the number of pins by 1. But they have also made the keyway much more restrictive. So the left one is an easy-going pick, so you can access the pins very nicely, while the right one is very restrictive. So to be honest with you, I could not yet pick the right one. So, and every time if something is like that I cannot pick it, I want to exactly see why I cannot pick it. And it happens to be that this instance of a padlock has some problems. First of all, it has a hole here, and the spring is broken. The spring of the shackle is broken. And there are enough reasons to take this one apart, to pull out the plug and to make a cut through the plug in order to see the shape of the wardings in greater detail. So first let me quickly pick this one to show you how easy it is, and then I wanna take this apart and wanna have a look at the wardings really close. So hold on. Okay, lock is clamped up in a vise. And it's locked up. So check pin 1, click and turn on the core. Pin 2, counter rotation and set the spool. Pin 3 and 4, and it's open. Alright, so that's how quickly it can go if you can access the pins very nicely, but this keyway, you can see it's a different story. And that's my thinnest pick, and I can access some of the pins, but I cannot get much more than a false set. Of course, the bitting is also quite interesting with these deep cuts and those shallow cuts here. Alright, so as I said, I wanna pull out the plug and wanna cut through the plug to see the warding in a greater detail. So hold on. So the first step worked out pretty well. It was to find the chambers in the Bible, and I just used my punch and hammered a little bit on the surface, and I easily found all 5 chambers. And here, I tried to find the retaining pin for the plug, but it doesn't seem that it is located here, or maybe it's a little bit deeper. But I found all 5 chambers, so now I will drill them out. Okay, so here you can see all the guts and the holes are empty. And when I drilled in the holes, I kept the key inside the lock so that I had resistance when I drilled in. And I used the drill bit a little bit thicker than the actual hole. I think it was a 3mm drill bit. And I drilled so far that until I felt resistance. Then I drilled a little bit more. And I continued with all 5 holes. So this caused the plugs that filled the holes to to come free, and then I flipped over the lock and just could shake out all the guts. Alright, so now, let me find the retaining pin. Alright, I was searching everywhere in this lock for the retaining pin, and I filed away material so that I could recognize a shadow of a hole. But I found it just where I first thought it would be, just right here at position 6. I drilled it out with a drill bit a little bit thicker than the actual hole. Then I turned the plug back and forth, and then it came out. So that's the retaining pin, and now the plug can be pulled out, and here it is. Or you can see all the 5 chambers and the groove for the retaining pin. We will have a closer look to the locking mechanism just in a moment, but here we have the pins. The key pins are all standard and the drivers are spools except position 1, which is a serrated. The springs are a little bit deformed, but I think this is due to my disassembling attacks. But now to the locking mechanism. Here you have a pretty good view into the lock where the plug actually would be. You can see 2 rods. They are connected to the locking bolts on the left and on the right side. They are spring loaded. The upper one locks the left side of the shackle, and the lower one locks the right side of the shackle. And the locking bolt is pushed against the groove of the shackle with the force of the spring. And you can see 2 elements here. I try to point it. So one here and one there. And they are connected to the elements here on the plug. And when you push in the plug and turn it, we actually push the 2 rods against the spring tension and make free the groove in the shackle, and so you can remove the shackle. And now we can completely disassemble this lock. And here are the rods and the connected locking bolts. So that's the upper side. That's how it would look like from the top. And that's the part you would probably shim. And if you shim it, you have to overcome this spring tension. Okay, so much for the actual locking mechanism. Now I wanna work on the plug to make the wardings better visible. So this is my cutaway, or better say file away and cut through, because I used the file to file away material from this side, and I plan to do the same from the other side as well, to look at the wardings from both directions. But then I thought there might not be enough material left here at the bottom to hold the remaining piece in place. So I just cut away this piece here, and now I have 2 parts. But this piece alone is just interesting enough, because it shows you why it is difficult to pick the lock. First, the pins are located in very narrow chambers with material in between, so that you have to use a hook in order to access the pins from the very top. And next, the wardings. There is 1 warding here at the left and 1 warding at the right side, and it's the bar here that you can see, which is the left warding, and from the other piece you can see the other warding just right here. So there is really not enough room for a hook to access the pins, or to be inserted. And you have actually 2 choices where you can stick in your hook. First in this direction, then you can directly access the pins, but this limits the depth of the hook. And then you have this angle, and there is enough room for a deep hook, but this means you have to turn it around this edge here in order to get access to the pins. And I have an example here of a Peterson hook, which is thin and not too deep actually, so it can go below the left warding to access pin 1 and also pin 2, but pin 3 it's already difficult, so you have to turn it like this and to go into the larger area, and so you can access the last pin also, but you can see you don't get a very good reach, so it's not very deep that you can push that pin, and it might not be sufficient depending on the bidding. So now when you use a deeper hook, and I have a southward hook here, which is deeper but also thicker, I can show you that it doesn't work. Because I have another lock here with the same keyway, and you can see I cannot stick it in like that, there is not enough room, but I can stick it in like this, and it's easy and very smooth possible, but I cannot turn it around the corner to access the pins. So it's not possible to pick the lock with this hook. What you really need is very thin and flexible deep hook. That's the best I have. Oops, sorry. So with this hook it should be possible to access the pins a little and push it a little bit deeper than with the first hook. So it can be inserted like this. You can see it goes above the warding, and it can be turned and you can access the pins, and you can also give it an extra angle like so, and you get a very good reach, and maybe this is sufficient to pick the lock. And it's still very very hard to manipulate the pins and to work with the pick in the lock. With this knowledge and having in hand the second ABUS lock with this evil keyway, I want to try to pick this now for you. So this is again the lock that I want to pick. Works nice and smooth and is locked up. That's the bidding on the key. You can see that pin 1 and 2 needs to be set deep. Then 3 and 4 are already or almost at shear line. And again pin 5 needs to be set very deep. Okay, now let's try to pick it. And of course I will use my thin and flexible and deep hook. So first pin 1, which is a standard pin here as well. Then I'm checking pin 2. Maybe I got it. Then I'm going back to pin 5. And here I'm stuck in the chamber, so I'm directly accessing pin 5 now. And it's open. Alright, so that's how easy it can be if the bidding is not too difficult. So if you only have to pick 3 stacks and if you have the right tool. Alright, so this was the ABUS 4540 with the evil keyway explored and picked. So thank you very much for watching. Happy picking. Bye bye.